Welcome to Smalltalk Daily for Friday, August 20th, 2010. This morning I wanted to take the Notes app that we built yesterday and go through a brief explanation of some of the things you can do with customizing the scaffolding in the basic WebVelocity framework. So to review, let's take a look at what we have. We have notes.html, which looks like this, and the columns come in this Scaffolding UI based on the order that the variables were declared. So description is first in the class, description then created, then finally all the way over here at the right, title. That's not really what we want. What we probably want is title over here, created, and the description we might not even want in this view. We might want to go into the actual view here and maybe even have a text editor here or a text view instead of just a simple string. So those are some of the things we might want to do. Let's get started with that. What we're going to do is go to class note, and this looks like maybe a strange place to go, but what you can do is go to the class side. I'm going to create a new protocol. I'm going to call it accessing, which is maybe not the best name for it, but let's just call it that. And in there, we're going to create a new method. So I've already copied the method over, so let's just paste it in. And it's called variable names. And this controls how the UI will pick this up, and it's the order the variables will appear in the view. So let's go back to browse, and we'll go to notes.html. And notice now I have title, created, and then over here, description. So let's now try to customize this. I don't want description showing up in this list UI. So to do that, I'm going to have to go back to the list UI. So I'm going to go to classes, note list UI, and I have some of the scaffolding to help me with this. Now it turns out that to find the method I'm going to use, you'd actually have to dig a little into the documentation. What you're going to do is go here to testing, and I'm going to add a new method, and what this method is going to be called is should render description. Now you can create a method called should render blah, where blah is any one of the columns, and you're going to use this camel case kind of methodology to naming this, and that will tell WebVelocity whether to display that column in the resulting form or not. So again, I'll go back here and I'll refresh this view, and now you notice the title isn't even there. Or description isn't even there. I have title over here, created here, and then no description. So if I move this over, nothing there. So I've now gotten rid of that. Now there's one other thing I want to show you. Notice how I'm putting timestamps here, and that's because in the database my notes have a timestamp object associated with them, and I don't really want to display down to the number of seconds at which point this thing was created. The date is good enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another small customization. So in addition to telling the system whether you should or should not display something with a method like should render whatever, what you can do is go into rendering HTML, and again, it doesn't really matter where you put this. I'm just going to put it over here. So I'm going to highlight this and paste over it with what I typed. So render object created, and it's render object and the name of variable, again using camel casing, and you get an object as the argument on the HTML, and then you can put in whatever valid C-side you want here. I'm saying HTML text, the object as date print string. So just convert it to a date object and then print string. Let's see what we've got. If we refresh this again, you notice that those things now appear as just date objects and not timestamps. So those are some of the things you can do to customize. Now, as far as how you can get more, let's go over here and go to documentation and take a look at here so you can see about WebVelocity, code library guides, application development. That's probably where you want to start looking. And I'll start typing scaffolding. And you can see that it's got active record scaffolding, domain classes and scaffolding, the themes, using CSS with scaffolding, working with scaffolding. So let's try that one. And then it gives you a fairly long description of some of the things you can do, the classes, and how does scaffolding generate pages. So it goes through this in fairly exhaustive detail. I've just scratched the surface of what you can do. You should really take a look at this documentation to see all of the things you can do with the framework. So that's about it for today. Until next time, have fun with Smalltalk.